Welcome back to It Starts Now, the happy hour of finance and business. My name is Stanley. For you guys that's tuning in, I really appreciate it and want to say thank you for you guys that's on the audio, that's listening. It's always a pleasure to have you guys. We got somebody here today that we actually connected through a close friend. And during that time, I was doing a lot of research and I realized this guy is really gifted. He has a book called Too Gifted, which is out. And then he also has a rapping semi-career because, he's transitioned. But he found a way to incorporate both the music side of it and the book side of it and made something that was remarkable. So please welcome our guy, our guest, the infamous Ique. Pleasure to have you.
Hey, what's going on, Stanley? Thank you. Yeah, that was a dope introduction. I really appreciate that. Yeah. So I'm Ique. I wear many hats. Like I'm a husband. I have to say that. That's number one.
Yeah, the wife in the building, by the way.
You see, I made sure I said that first. Husband, man. I'm a believer. I am an entrepreneur, an employee. I'm a father, and now I'm an author as well. So I wear many hats. But did I say artist? Yeah, I'm an artist as well. And I always tell people that I'm not a rapper. I'm an artist.
Can you break down the difference? Because some people don't really know.
Yeah. So a rapper is someone who can rhyme, right? Someone who can, put together cat, hat, bat, that, right? But an artist is somebody who can create timeless music. And as you can see in today's world, like there are some rappers and there are some artists. There are people who, no matter if their songs were put out 10 years ago, like we're still here. We're still listening to it. We're still rocking out to it. And I always say that because as an artist, I'm not just attached to one genre. Like I'm not just hip hop. I'm not just pop. I'm not just jazz. So like I'm everything, I'm very flexible. And music for me is more therapeutic. So depending on how I'm feeling at that moment, that's what's going to come out. So that's why I just try to tell people that. And being an artist just means that you're different. You stand out from everybody else. Like you're not blending in with the crowd. So
Right.
Yeah.
But in this day and age, when people say that, basically music is all in one now. You have like rappers doing country music and or everything is just in conjunction to one type of music.
Yeah.
So it's not like it was back in the days where it was like mostly broken down. Now most rappers are pop artists. Most rappers are, like for example, the country, So how do you differentiate the artist part of it from the music, from the way they doing all the music side of it as a whole?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot more to artistry than just like being able to rap, right? You got performance, you have actually creating that thing, you know what I mean? You have there's so many different elements to artistry than just like rapping. So like I commend artists who are doing different things and showing how flexible they can be, and they're not controlled by, a person or entity, but they're able to just do things their own way. Like me is like I write my music, I can perform my music, I can edit my videos, I can literally direct people on certain things, like everything, the whole aspect of it. So like shop. I'm just one man shop, you know what I mean? And when I said it, I'm not a rapper, I'm an artist. When I was rapping, a lot of times people used to just equate it with just one thing. And I'm just like, no, that's not me, right? So I always tell people that because there's still people tell you that's just like, yo, bro, you're a good rapper. I'm like, nah, I'm a good artist. Like, like I do it all. Don't box me in and put me into just one category. And that's just how I feel about that whole rapping thing. So I don't like being called that.
How long you been doing this for?
Man, I've been rapping and creating for over a decade now. So I've done so many different things. I have performed on so many different platforms. I've been writing music since I was 11 years old. So I'm 30
Right.
So, I'm not good at math, but
It's up there.
You know where that's at.
Yeah.
So I've been doing it for a long time. And just music has been like therapy to me. Like
Right.
whenever I was going through something, like I would write my way out of depression, you know, and it was just something that was good. So a lot of people do know me as IQ, like, and that will never go, you know what I mean?
Right.
But now I'm trying to transition. I'm transitioning into other avenues in my life where, like you said, like I'm still showing my artistry, but just in a different way.
I definitely, now we're going to transition into the book.
Yeah.
I definitely like how when you go to your IG page, you have this, you have a collage, but you have something where you it's called the mirror.
Mirror.
Right. And then you incorporate a lot of positive stuff with that message into the rap as well too.
Yeah.
So it's like one package, but now you're transitioning into books.
Yeah.
Now, how did that happen?
Oh man, the pandemic. So Mirror is like me, like a background behind that on my Instagram. I literally look at myself in the mirror all the time and encourage myself, because I used to go through stuff where I used to kind of like be my worst enemy, doubt myself, insecurity, all those different things. And I decided to say to myself, like, I need to face this person that I've been afraid to face my whole life. And that's me. Like a lot of times we want to blame everybody else for things that happens in our lives. And I said to myself one day that I'm just like, let me look at this man right here and blame him a little bit.
True. But it's hard though to do that self-reflection.
Very
assessment.
hard. Oh my gosh. So doing it helped me. So I started off kind of just doing it in the mirror, go to the bathroom, whatever, talk to myself, yo, Q, you gonna make it in life. You gonna be this, you gonna be that. And then I said to myself, like, I know that there's other people who feel this way, but they just don't do it. So I'm like, I'm going to go on Instagram and I'm going to create a series where now you can see me encouraging myself. But while I'm encouraging myself, I'm encouraging you too. And a lot of topics that I hit are things that people might feel, but they don't let it out, you know?
Right.
And to answer your question about the book, so Too Gifted is like a revelation for me, because throughout the pandemic, everybody's losing their people losing their lives, their jobs, all these different things. And something my wife, and I always say this, like, we didn't know if we was going to have our jobs, right? Like, my wife, she works in the fire department, different things like that. I work in the educational system, but the jobs that we thought was supposed to solidify us was the same jobs where we were like, wait a minute,
security.
We might not have these things. Like, what's going on? And something she said to me was, she was like, if one of us lose our jobs, how we gonna pay bills? How we gonna do this? How we gonna do that? And I'm a firm believer. So like, it hit me. I went to God and I'm like, cause this is how I talk to God. I'm like, yo, God, like, what's up? Like, how? Like, that's true. Like if I lose my job, like I got 3 children, so it's like I'm not gonna be able to be, the provider in my house. So like, what are we gonna do about this? Right. And when I prayed and stuff and just spoke to God, He put it in my heart. He's like, yo, like, I already gave you stuff that can allow you to make money. It's you that's not using it. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I understand. Like, what is that? It's like gifts. Like, every person has a gift that's been planted inside of them. Something that no man could take away, right? It's inside of us. So if it's inside of us, it's up to us to water that seed and allow it to grow. But a lot of times we don't do that for whatever reasons. And being in the education and with youth development for over 13 years, I realized that I replaced that gift that he's given me with something else that I really might not really love that much, but I knew it was going to stabilize me, and it was security and all these different things. And He's like, now look, I need you to go back to that gift, go back to it. Cause I did music for 10 years, but I never took it 100% serious because it was always something in my head saying, this might not be it, because everybody wants to rap. Everybody does this. Everybody does that. You shouldn't go that route. And people told me, like, don't do that. Get a degree, get this, get that. So it's like all of those different things in my head. I kind of chose my second love over my first love. You know what I mean? And I'm at this point again where I'm like, I might lose the security and I don't have nothing to fall back on.
Right.
And he said, you do. You have a gift. A gift is something that we do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. When I wrote this book, you know, God had to put in my heart that, like, there's so many gifts that we have. There's so many things that's in us, you know, that we don't use. Even like literally solving problems, being a good listener, loving people, right? Like, a gift is not only attached to a skill. It's not only attached to, you know, being a basketball player, a rapper, a singer, a dancer. It's so much more that goes along with it. So when God gave me that, I'm like, oh, okay, like, this is it's a gift. I need to figure that thing out. I need to figure out what gift do you want me to use that's gonna allow me to sustain my family? Like, what is that, right? And throughout that process, he just started showing me so many gifts. I'm good at communicating, but I don't use it. When I made the book, I was like, not when I created the book, when I was basically going through that process of writing the book, I started seeing so many different things inside of me that, like, I didn't really know, you know what I mean? And when I created it, it really started structuring my life. So, like, Too Gifted is a book designed to help people live a purpose-driven life through the natural gifts that God has given us, right? Just the gifts that we already have inside. My purpose for this book is to show people how to do that. Like, I'm showing people how to discover their gift, because a lot of people just don't know they have one. Develop it, meaning what are we going to do to actually water it so that it can grow? And then uncovering it, meaning showing it to the world or using it to the best of our ability. So with all of the stuff that happened, I feel like, okay, I'm in a place right now where I don't know if I'm gonna have my job or not, but I do have this thing inside of me that I should be using. And communicating, writing, like, all these different things, it's in me. You know, it's always been in me. So it's like, God is like, you're not using that. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And you telling me that you know, like, you might lose your job. No, like, don't even talk to me about this no more. I need you to go do the work. Go do what you got to do. And I got hungry. I started doing it. I started doing my research. I started figuring out, you know, how I can write a book. You know, I started, because I'm from a place where nobody writing books in my family. Nobody, you know, nobody in my community, you know, in my immediate circles writing books. So I had to dig deep, and I had to say, okay, like, I'm gonna do this thing. And
walk us through that step. Like, you started doing the research. First of all, before you walk me through that step, I want to say one thing. I was reading the book, and what I do like is the part where you're having a conversation, and you use your mother a lot, and then you said that she referenced you to saying, I birthed you, but I didn't create you, right? And I thought that was impressive. And the other thing you said is that a lot of parents take credit for other kids' gifts, right? And they say, oh, you got this talent because of me, right? Because in the back of our mind, we always think like genetics play a major part of it. Because I can sing, that's the reason why you can sing. But a lot of times, some people can sing, the other person is horrible, right? So it's like, but I kind of understand that why parents would think that the gifts came from them. But when you break it down and you said, you know, God is the one that's giving you the gift, right? But I like the fact that you said your mother said, you know, I gave birth to you, but I didn't create you. So that gift is partly due because of the credit to God. And, you know, some people would look God as universe or whatever, you know, whatever their choice is. But there's a higher power, a higher being, right? So I really like that about the book. And I'm combing through it, and I'm definitely going to do like a deep dive when we finish here. But how did that process start? It's not like you researched the book and then tomorrow the book is here. So it had to be some steps. Walk us through those steps.
So I'm a part of like an entrepreneurship community. It's called the Morning Meetup. The first step, of course, for me, it was prayer. It was a lot of praying every single day, just asking God for clarity and different things like that. But on a natural state, I changed my environment. Like, that was the beginning of the process, putting myself around other individuals who actually did it, right? Or people who wanted to do it.
Right. Wait, how did you find those people?
Just looking them up. I came across this guy. His name is David Shands. He's like my online mentor in my head, because sometimes our environment, we might think it needs to be people that we're around, but we can create our environment for ourselves. But that's a whole nother conversation.
I like that.
Yeah, I came across him on YouTube, and I'm like, who is this dude and stuff? And I just started doing research. I started looking at his podcast. I started seeing certain things. And I just hit him up on Instagram, like, look, I want to be a part of this. I don't know about entrepreneurship. I don't know about these different things. He's like, yo, sign up for my morning meetup. That's $1, and let's get you started. That was it, right? It was just me seeking out and asking, and I became a part of that. And now I went from being in a certain environment all the time that I just was tired of versus now I'm like going online every day and I'm seeing people talking about I'm making 100K in a day, and I'm sitting here with my 9 to 5, like I'm trying to make 60 in a year, like, and I'm just like, oh, like it opened up my mind,
the light bulb,
and it made me see things differently. So then I'm like, oh, so that was really the first process. It was a mentality thing. It was getting myself in a right environment, in a right space with the right people, even if I never said a word. Just knowing that there's people that look like me that's doing more than what I'm doing, that was enough.
Yeah, I like to call it ear hustling.
That's it.
Because I be ear hustling. When I go into certain rooms, it's like, I don't need to speak. But if I know you're smart and you know what you're doing, I'll sit there and listen.
That's it. That's it. I like that. So I was ear hustling and just being a part of that community. And then I'm like, okay, I got a little confidence now. I'm like, wait, these dudes 22 talking about, they writing books. They writing 7 books. I'm like, I'm a competitive person too.
Right.
So in my competitive self, in my head, I'm like, oh, I could do this too. So now we got the process, right? I don't know what I'm doing still. I met this coach. His name is Kyle King. He's like a writing coach, and I connected with him, and he gave me a lot of tools. You know what I mean? Like, he helped me realize that everything that I wanted to put on paper was in my head, but I just needed to figure out a structure on how to actually do it. And he helped me with that. Like, he helped me with the structure. Like, yo, he told me little things like from 12 to 1 every day, just write a paragraph. Literally just write, just throw mad ideas on the paper.
Right.
Gifted. Motivation, inspiration, like just splatter, just start going crazy, get yourself working. And then before I knew it, I'm like, oh nah, I could do this now. Cause like now I'm writing a chapter. Like at 12 o'clock, I don't care what was going on in my life. I'm writing something about my book, right? I started off with, of course, like a thesis statement. I know it sounds real crazy, but it really wasn't anything. Just like a mission of what I wanted my book to be about. I broke down the chapters. So it's like, I might not have all the information, but I know chapter 1 is going to be the introduction.
Right.
I know chapter 2 is going to probably be me saying something about gifted, right? Like just thinking about a lot of brainstorming. Once I went through the brainstorming process, everything else it just came now. Like I'm an artist, so I put instrumentals. So another thing that I did throughout this process, I always had an instrumental in my ear when I was writing, because I'm so used to writing raps and listening to the instrumental that I put an instrumental in my ear while I was writing my book. I could not write my book without having an instrumental in my ear. Like, I don't know why. I tried it, but it didn't work. So every single day from 12 to 1, throw the instrumental in my ear and I'll get the writing. I started writing my book March 15th. I started writing my book June. Was it June? It was January? January 15th, I started writing my book. By March, I was done. Like by March 15th, I was
somebody that never wrote a book.
It's a mindset thing. We get in our head too much. Like that's what I'm realizing. Like we get in our head way too much for so many things in our life. And literally after I got out of my head, it was over. So it was like January 15th, I'm brainstorming. March 15th, I'm done. I'm finished. Book done. Now I got all my chapters. I got all my pages. I got all this stuff. Now it's just like I got to outsource. Now I got to say, okay, let me look for a book formatter because I don't know what that is. Let me look for a graphic designer because I don't know how to draw. And then before I knew it, April 1st, which was my birthday, my 30th birthday, I released my book.
Now, take me a step before that. Where did you find out where to release your book?
Oh, so Kyle helped me with that. Okay. But also doing my research. Do you know how simple it is to say, where can I go to publish my book on Google? Like, I don't think people understand how like we think so crazy. Yeah. Literally, you type how to publish my book, and there's mad things that it would give you everything.
There's so many digital outlets out there right now that will publish it, and I'm glad you touched on that, right? Because we got the book through Kindle, and I ain't gonna lie. I'm not used to buying things off of Kindle, right? So it kind of threw me off that. But I was impressed that, okay, how did you get it on Kindle? But then you also have like the Amazons and the other. I know you have it on your site, but you have all these other outlets. Why go to Kindle and not the other outlets? Is it something that was preventing you? Or?
Nah, my goal was to get it, to make it accessible for everybody, everywhere, to the point where if you're a Kindle person, I want it to be available there, right? So my thing was, the question that I asked on Google was, how can I distribute my book everywhere? And it gives you it. It'll tell you, like, Amazon, this is the process for Amazon. This is the process for Kindle. This is the process for Barnes and Nobles. And you just do it, right? I always want, because I know that there's so many different people that receive things in all different kind of ways. So literally, I just said, okay, I'm going to do a website where I could give the paperbacks here and I could sign copies because I know people like that. Right. I'm going to make sure I get it on Amazon and Kindle because I know that's where it's at, right? I'm currently working on getting it in Barnes & Nobles and Target and Walmart and all these different things. But it's not hard. Like, it's literally just researching it. I don't have like this crazy answer. It's like I'm in the crib, like, how to do this, read it, boom, it's there. Like, that's it. And then the part like Barnes and Nobles, I was so in my head with this Barnes and Nobles thing because I'm from the hood. I can't imagine like
being listed in Barnes and Nobles. That's a big thing for somebody that's coming out in certain neighborhoods.
Yo, and in my head, I'm like, yo, how the heck I'm gonna get this joint in Barnes and Nobles? Like, it's not gonna happen, right? Like, and this is what happens too. We overthink things and we get in our head throughout the process. So that's why we don't make the decision. So on Saturday, I'm like, I'm gonna just go to Barnes and Nobles. like I'm just gonna walk in Barnes and Nobles and ask them how to do it. Like, that's it. And literally Saturday I went downtown Brooklyn and I walked in there like with the book. Like, look, this is me. You see it, right? Like. And she was like, oh, just do A, B, C, D, go to here, and be good.
Yeah.
The old me, I would have been in my head. I would have called everybody and their mother to see if anybody knew about it. I would have did this, that, and then still not go to Barnes & Nobles.
Because of the fear of rejection.
That's it.
Yeah.
And literally, when you ask that question about just like how to get these things done, you just got to do your research. You got to do it. And if you don't, because me, I don't, like I said, I don't have nobody in my immediate circle that, something my wife told me the other day, because she know I'm always in my head. It still happens. And I'm just like, all right, I got the book. Like, I did this, I did that, but like, what can I do this and what did I? And she's like, yo, look, can I be honest with you? I'm like, what? She's like, I can't help you. I don't know this. This is not my
expertise. You got to appreciate that.
I appreciate it so much because it hit me. I'm like, there's so many people who do want to help me, but they can't.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
That's because they reach a level where they can only take you, right? And then you got to say to yourself, listen, it's either two things that's going to happen, right? It's either one, and this is no offense, but it's either she's going to step up to the plate and learn and hold on, right?
I like that one.
Or the second one, you got to get somebody else.
Yeah,
it's one of the two, right?
Yeah.
So you got to move on.
Yeah,
and it's not in a negative way. It's just that if we're gonna grow this, then someone has to make that decision and say, okay, maybe you need to get somebody else. Matter of fact, you know what my wife would say, I'll get somebody else for you and then get that done.
Yeah.
Or she got to step up to the plate and
learn.
And then we progress together. We show a lot of progress together.
Yeah.
But either way, it's still growth.
You know what my problem was as an artist? I used to be the artist, like, I never get support from nobody. Like, watch when I make it, I'm not taking nobody with me. Like, I used to be that person where it's just like, yo, I can't do it. I'm tired to make songs. Like, watch when I make it to the top. And now, as I start getting older, I'm like, they couldn't help me anyway.
No.
It's like,
but that journey, everybody, just like you said with the gift, right? That journey is for you.
That's it.
Yeah, that lonely road
to
success in the beginning, like it's for you to develop not only thick skin, to learn the trade, also to get accustomed to how you're going to manage things.
Yep.
So during that short period of run, it may seem like a long time, but believe it or not, that journey is for you. So other people can't really help you through that process until you make it to a certain level. And guess what happens? You start showing them, hey, this is what I need you to do. Because now I know it. All right. So now you're the one that's delegating and then you're showing.
Yeah.
But till you get to that point of learning it yourself and developing yourself and your skills and all that other things, or the necessities that you need or the tools that you need, it's just going to be a lonely road. So they can't really help.
That's true. And I had to really swallow that pill. Like, for the first time in my life, and this is like 2 weeks ago. I'm just like, yo, like, that's so true. Like, and I'm just sitting back and I'm like, I've been like so upset with so many people that really couldn't really help me. And it's times where they wanted to, but they just couldn't. But it takes a certain type of person. Another one of my friends told me, they was like, yo, you're at the level right now that you could stop because you just don't know, or you could really go to that next level. Right. What are you gonna do? Right. And I'm just like, oh, I'm going to the next, I'm going to the next level. That's it. You know, like, I'm gonna make sure that I find people that can help me in this process. You know, I think that having a coach is dope too. Right. Like, the more I'm starting to learn, like, having like a coach or having somebody around you, a mentor that's like more experienced than you, that can kind of guide you. If we have access to that, I believe that we should all do that, because I just think it helps us. You know, it just helps us as human beings being around other people who can help us. But if you don't have that, you gotta look within. Right. You know, you gotta figure out. That's why affirmations, motivations, inspiration, all that stuff is so important. Like, I have to talk to myself daily. Coming to this podcast, I'm like, oh, I'm nervous. I don't like what I'm gonna say. Like, what's gonna happen? I don't. But then that other voice in my head is like, oh, you gonna do this. Like, you got this. You got it. You wrote this book. You know, you got this. Is you. Right. So it's like, it's really a battle. It's a battle. And I was listening to something the other day where it's like, the problem with a lot of us is that we listen to that negative voice so much that we turn the volume up. Yeah, I think somebody said it. We turn the volume up on that negative voice in our head, that it blocks everything else, and all we can hear is that negativity. Yeah. We got to get to a place where we turn that joint down so that we can really have access to what we're supposed to be, what we're supposed to walk into. I didn't say something that's going to happen. There are things in our life that we're supposed to walk into. We're supposed to be successful. We're supposed to be rich. Not only rich as far as wealthy, but rich in mind, right? Rich with knowledge, rich with wisdom, like rich with peace. Like, we're supposed to have these things, but we allow that level, that high volume to just kind of like block us out. And I feel like the reason why I was able to write this book was because I turned that volume all the way down. It was still there though. You know, it wasn't at 50. It was at 20 sometimes. You know what I mean? And sometimes it went up a little bit, but then I had to turn that bad boy back down, and I started allowing that other voice that I'm supposed to be listening to help me out throughout the process, and because when we turn that small voice down, what I'm learning is it humbles us still. It keeps us humble, and it reminds us of where we were and where we came from and stuff. So you don't want to eliminate the voice completely because you might become arrogant and cocky and all of that stuff. But you don't want that volume, that voice to be louder than the other thing.
You don't want it to be the one in the driver's seat.
Yeah. And that's what happens a lot with us, and that's why I turned that joint down and I just did it. So even when my wife says something like, I can't help you, that old voice would have been like, she ain't supporting you. Is this really your wife? Is this this is how it's supposed to be? This is how everybody did you. Yeah. So now she doing you the same way, and it's like, nah, I didn't listen to that. I didn't. It's right here though. It's like right here, but I didn't do it this time. I said, yo, I understand what you're saying now. I get it.
You get it, yeah. Joyce Myers has a book called The Battlefield of the Mind, and that was one of the first books that when it made me look at that, I'm fighting myself every day. Every day is a battlefield, right? And it's just interesting. What's his name? I forgot his name. Dr.
Miles Monroe.
Miles Monroe. He is credible when he described the gift. Like, we all have a gift, and then we shouldn't waste the gift, right? But then he also talks about, facing the challenges that we put on ourselves. Like, we try to shorten our success.
Yeah, all the time.
Right, and that's because we have this mental confrontation daily, and it all depends who wins that battle that day. And believe it or not, some days you're gonna lose those battles, right? Some days you're gonna feel like less confident, or you don't have that, the swagger that you once have. But then you got to bounce right back. You got to figure out a way to bounce back. And my thing is, even if it takes you like a day or two, take a day or two. Get out your feelings, get that right energy back. Because I'm a firm believer in good energy, right? I don't want to be around somebody that has bad energy. So if I need to take a day or two to get my energy back and get in a good vibe, I'm gonna take that day or two and not answer calls, not do anything. But then I gotta bounce back, right? So I get what you're saying, and I love it. So now let's go back.
Okay.
You got the book; it's published now.
Yes.
What happens?
I didn't know. That was the hard part. It was like, it's here. What you gonna do? My goal was, April 1st is my birthday. I turned 30, so I was like, okay. A lot of times, and I know people might steal this, but a lot of times people on Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff, they hit you with the happy birthdays. Sometimes it's people who don't really even care about you. They just happy birthday. It's just normal to do. I said, I'm going to take advantage of that. So when everybody says happy birthday to me, I'm going to put that link there. Now, I'm going to say thank you, right? But I'm going to put a link in my book now. I'm going to do something and create that.
To have an action.
So now
it's like a call to action.
All my people like, happy birthday, yo, da 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 da. Yo, I just wrote my first book, blah blah blah. Hey, check this out. And that's another thing that people don't do too. Like, some people get in their head so much that they're like, I don't want to do that. Like, I do want to do that. Yeah. So that was my first plan on my birthday, to make sure that everybody who said happy birthday to me knew that I had a book out. Right. And from that, I sold 100 books in about 10 days. No Amazon. I didn't even. You said, you told me where you bought it from and stuff. I still don't know my Amazon sales yet, because I'm focused on really, just hardcovers. I'm focused on really like having the people who actually bought it from me. Like that's what I'm tracking right now. Right now we're at 152 books. And again, what's today? April 27th? So I sold 150 something books in 27 days with no marketing, none of that.
And that's not even account for the digital.
That's not the digital copies. Yeah. So my plan was just to reach out, just to do that, And now I'm like, okay, Barnes and Nobles, this and that. Now I'm thinking about other ways that I could go about it. Because again, that's another thing I want to tell people. Don't stop the process just because you don't know what the end is going to be. Right. I don't believe in that. Sometimes we get into situations where we plan so much and still don't do nothing about it. So how about I'm gonna put this out. I'm not gonna know what's gonna happen. I'm not gonna have a 100% plan, but I'm gonna do it.
Right.
And throughout the process, I'm just gonna learn from it. That's it. Like, what's the worst that could happen, right? I'm learning right now.
Yeah.
Right now, I got a bag. I got books in my bag. I got stuff in there, and I see a person walking down the street. Yo, what's up? How you doing? My name is Q, and this is whatever I gotta do,
Right.
you know. But I don't know what the end result is gonna be in this, right? Like, I just don't know.
Technically, you're just getting started.
Just getting started with it, right? And but that was what I wanted to do. I just wanted to do happy birthday books. I don't know what it's called, but and people went crazy. I put up one Facebook and got one Facebook post, and I was like, you know, and look, again, I copy other people's stuff. The first 100 people to do this is gonna get this. I just went on other people book stuff and was like, oh, that's cool. Let me try it for mine. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's not. I'm not like out here doing something that like crazy or magical. Like, and literally, that's what happened. I saw somebody else do it. I'm like, oh, I did the same thing. People going crazy. Yo, am I 57? Am I number 9? And I'm just like, yo, people really going crazy off this 100 and stuff like that. But people bought. Like, I'm talking about. I made some money.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to be proud or boastful, but
no, you should be. That's an accomplishment.
It is an accomplishment, but I bought literally. I've been working my job for so long, and I made 2-3 times paid from 100 books. I can't go back now. like it's over. As much I'm still working my 9 to 5.
Right.
But now is exit strategy time. Now is like 2 years. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out because
and if you know how to do it once, you're gonna be able to do it a second
I'm
and a third.
Oh, Stanley, I'm doing 6 books in the next 2 years. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, no, that's
I wrote a book in 2 months. So imagine if I had 4 months to write a book. Imagine if I had 6. Somebody hit me and was like, there's still a couple grammatical errors in the book. I said, look, I just sold 100 books. They didn't say that to me, so let's keep it moving. like what you like? It doesn't bother me.
Right.
People really focus too much on stuff that's not really necessary. Like, if you, and another thing is, what God has done for me is He helped me to develop the messaging behind this book. Right. The book is cool, but I gotta stop saying trying. I am impacting people and helping people tap into that gift so that they can live a purpose-driven life.
Right.
I asked my cousin on the ride here. He just read my book. He was like, "Yo," I'm like, "Yo, what's my target audience?" He said, "Everybody." I said, "What you mean, everybody?" He said, "Everybody, because everybody wants to live a purpose-driven life. Everybody really wants to live the life they deserve. It's just some people choose not to, or some people go through whatever.
Some people don't know,
and they don't. That's it. Yeah. So I'm like,
tapped into it yet.
Oh yeah. So I'm helping. So I can help I work with kids. I work with elementary kids, K through 8th grade, 5th grade. So I know 6-year-olds who can sing, but their parents is telling them that that's not the way to go, and you need to just at 6, you need to be making sure you get ready for college, right? Like, I know teenagers who's like, yo, Q, I really got this thing where I could write poetry, but like, I'm going back and forth with myself because nobody around me is telling me that poetry could help me win. Yeah. But then you think about the person who did the poem, for what was it, for Floyd?
I forgot her name. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Yo, she eating off one time.
That's the one that what happened? We looked at her IG. She was at 100,000, and next thing you know, less than a day, or I forgot what it was. Yo. But she was at 1 million. We was like, what the hell? It was just like going and going and going.
So you can't tell me
3. She had 3 million now. 3 million.
You can't tell me.
24 hours, 3 million. That's crazy.
Come on, you can't tell me that you can't be a writer. You can't write poems and make it. You can't tell me that, right? Like, and that's the thing. Like, I feel like society has made us believe that there's one way to do this. Like, and it's not. The people. I've worked in companies. I worked in a company one time where the boss of the bosses making all the money didn't even have a GED. I'm not saying that that education is not key, because of course knowledge is power, right? Like, we got to learn and different things like that. But he had a GED and he telling me to go get a bachelor's. Like, people figure it out. Like, you know what I mean? I just want people to understand that, like, there are so many other ways that you can make it other than just this one way that people think. And it's usually tapping in. You got to use this, because once I love this, I love certain things. This is my gift, so I'm happy doing this. You're happy
to be sharing it. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, like, you in the book you said something about your son wanting to play basketball, but
Stephen Curry.
Yeah, but
messed him up. Messed him up. He messed him up.
But his talent you saw was something else.
Yo, my son is 9. At the time he was 8 years old. My son you put on the instrumental right now, he'll give you some bars, he'll give you a melody, he'll give you all of that. At 3 years old, he was doing that. Like 3, 4, 5, right? And I could say it's because I'm musically inclined too. Right. But nah, it's something different about him. But when he started getting older and started seeing LeBron James and Stephen Curry and all these people and all championships and this and that, he's like, Dad, I want to be a basketball player. What? Like, why you want to be a basketball player? Like, you got a gift. Like, there's you out here. I could let you. When we finish, I'm gonna let you hear his song he just wrote. Right. Like, you literally can just hear a beat and make a melody, a chorus, or this and that, and you talk about you want to be you don't want to be a basketball player. You just want to be that because that's what everybody is showing you, and you're not even taking you're not even appreciating that gift that you have inside of you. You know what I mean? So it hurt me when he told me that. I know, and I'm not against anybody that wants to be a basketball player. Like, if that's in your heart and you know that that's something you want to do, cool. But come on now, don't let society make you believe that.
Yeah, but do you think? And here's the thing, right? Because I to a degree I understand. The other part of me is saying, you sound like the parents that tell their kid no, go do something else when they really want to do it. Yeah. But I do get it. But I think sometimes some people, and they're rare, some people got multiple gifts. Like it's just not just. I've seen people that they touch something and it just comes so natural. But then you watch them do something else and you're like, wait, that comes so natural too. Like,
that's my wife. So look, that's good. That's good because that's her. In my book, she told me, she said, I don't have a gift. I said, you could cook, you could clean, you could do outdoor to hair. You know what I mean? You even iron my clothes better than I do. Like, you literally could do all these different things. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's just like, I don't have a gift. I'm like, yes, it is. It's problem solving. You see a problem and you solve it no matter what it is. And because God gave you that gift to be able to have that desire to solve stuff, you'll always figure out a way to do it and do it well. If I'm starved right now, she got curry goat we eating tonight. That's a problem. I need that. My belly. So she gonna make sure that curry goat tastes amazing. Right. It's just something about that touch that she has. Like,
then she could be cooking.
It could be, but the urge behind it is the fact that she wants to fix that issue that might be going on, and that might be the foundation of her gift, problem solving. And that could be so many different things. You know what I mean? And people don't think that. She'll automatically say, yeah, I cook a little something. I don't cook good. Or I do this, I do that, a little something. But it could just be that you just love solving problems. You just love helping people to the point where, like, whatever you touch becomes gold because of where your heart is with it.
Right. That's true too.
But I just want people to have different perspectives of gifts. I don't want them to. That's why, like me, I don't tell my son to be a singer or to be a rapper or anything like that. But I'm like, who's helping you tap into that? Who's showing you that is your gift and why it's your gift? I'm not saying it's a family thing that you got from me, but I'm saying, like, do you realize that when you hear a beat, you could just come up with a melody in your head and you don't have to I could give you another kid your age, I'll give him a beat, he'd be like, that beat is nice. Like, that's it. You not getting nothing else. Yeah. But you could do that. We need to have people around us that can help us find that. Right. Because then when we find it and when we're able to operate in it, we can choose now what we want to do. My wife said, dang, yo, that makes so much sense. Nobody ever told me I was a problem solver. Nobody ever told me that that's my gift or that's something that I'm really good at. Like, dang, nobody's saying these things to us. Right. Nobody's telling us this. Why aren't we?
But sometimes, from the outside looking in, you can see certain people are just gifted at a certain thing, right? Mm-hmm. But then for them themselves, it's hard for them to see it. Yeah. Even though you point it out, right? That's you can true. Point it out, and for them, it's just they blinded to it because you could even explain in detail why this is a part of you, or why you think that this is something that comes so natural, like it's innate, and they still have blinders on because in their mind they don't consider that a gift.
And you know what? I think a lot of times the reason why people are blinded is because of trauma or because of things that they might go through in their lives, right? And that's something that I had to include in my book as well, because sometimes we don't have access. We don't access our gifts because there's blockages. There's something else that's preventing us from doing it. It might be doubt. It might be insecurity. It might be fear. It might be upbringing. It might be environment.
Could it also be the fact that we're too busy watching somebody else instead of looking within?
Yo, that's like one of the number one things.
Because sometimes I look at somebody and I'm like, why are you watching that person for when you just as talented as this person?
With my social media, you can ask her. This was that environment change that I was doing, because I also realized in my environment, when I wake up and I look at my social media and I see all these other people successful doing this or just stupidness, I'm like, dang, yo, how he making it and I'm not making it? Like, I'm working harder than him. How it used to happen. And I said to myself, I started literally deleting every single thing on my timeline, on my feed that did not motivate or help feed my spirit. Everything. So I take out my phone right now. You'll probably see motivation. You'll probably see black love, because I always want to make sure I'm having black love. I'm doing the right things with my wife. I just had to keep that on camera. I also have a lot of spirituality things, right? I made sure that I changed it up. My Facebook, all of that. Listen, I'm deleting my mother off Facebook if she's not putting the stuff that's gonna help me out.
Yeah. I did that recently with one of the IG, my personal IG, and like I would follow certain people, right? But they would never pop up in my timeline because of other people. And I was like, wait, once in a blue, this person might pop up, and I don't know how the algorithm works or anything like that. So this person would just pop up in the blue, and I'm like, yeah, that's right, I am following this one. Why am I not seeing the feed? I'm seeing all these other feeds. So I had to do something similar. I deleted half of the feeds that I kept seeing that I thought that it wasn't positive or wasn't productive for me at the time. Not saying that they weren't good things, but what I was looking for, I needed that to come up in my feed frequently. So I deleted a lot of stuff. So I understand that.
Yep, it helps.
That strategy.
It helped me so much, because even late in the midnight hour where I can't sleep, I go to my Instagram, or if I'm doubting myself, I go to my Instagram and I'm like, I'll see a successful quote or something by Dr. Miles Monroe or something, and I'm like, nah, I got this. I could do this. I'm seeing, I'm just seeing these things on my timeline. I'm like, oh, nah, I got it. I wanted my body to be big, so I started following a whole bunch of workout people. So now it's like, oh, nah, my man just did 50 push-ups. I could do that. He's saying, and I made sure they was the same size as me too, because if they was too broad, like, I'll get scared again. So they had to have my same body type to make me feel like I'm in the lane with them.
Right.
And I had to do that, right? Like, I had to do that in order for me to succeed in doing this thing. The goal for me writing my book was not to reach 1 million people. The goal was for me to write my book.
Right.
Like, that was so if my wife or my mom or anybody's like, yo, you did, like, I love this book, I'm good, because I had to get over the fear of doing something that I never could really see myself doing. As you see how I talk, I don't pronounce my words properly. If you read my book, you'll see some of the words I'll probably say I didn't even know how to spell it. Like, I'm very, very transparent, because this is something I didn't think I was smart enough to write a book. I used to honestly feel like there was a certain culture of people who wrote books.
Right. Yeah.
And I didn't think that I can be the one to do it. I didn't do it. Right. I wasn't qualified. Mm-hmm. So the goal for me was to write a book, finish it, publish it, and that's it. My job is done. That's what I believe God was doing for me. A lot of people talk about like fear and faith and different things like that. What I realized in my life is that I operated in fear for a long time. And fear is when you are afraid to do something and you don't do it. Faith is when you're still afraid, but you do it and believe that it's going to happen.
Right.
Two different things. So now I'm operating more in faith and I'm not operating in fear. Again, I still have the fear. It still happens. Right. It never goes away. But now I'm doing that thing. And that was the goal for me to write this book. But because of all of this stuff, it is going to impact millions of people. It is going to help people tap into their gifts and all of that stuff.
Right.
But I just had to get this thing done. And I did, and that's what I'm encouraging other people. Just start. That's the hardest part. The hardest part is starting something, finishing something, is completing it. Forget about how many likes, how many comments, how many views. Just do it. And once you do it and finish it, be satisfied with that. Just for that moment, because that's going to push you. Now I'm ready. I'm ready to go higher, but I had to do this first. I had to.
You touched on something, and I like everything you said. I think the most important thing is always to start. Most important thing.
Yeah.
Because the journey never finishes.
Never. The journey is the destination.
Yeah. Honestly. You could finish a project. You could finish certain things, but you have to start. You have to start because it's ongoing. Because once you reach one level, you're going to be forced to get to the next level and then the next level. And I think that, taking the stairs one step at a time is very important because then you don't want to miss something on the way up.
Yeah.
And
that's good.
Yeah, because then when you get up to the top, you don't want to get to the point where because of that missed stairs or that couple of missed stairs that you missed, that's the only thing that's holding you back from reaching your final destination, which is important.
Where's your book? Because that's some good stuff. I'm putting that in my second book. I'm a coach.
This has been amazing.
Yeah.
Where can they reach you?
Oh, so me. You can reach me at 2-gifted.com, which is TOO-gifted.com. That's my book. If you want to reach me personally, my Instagram is IQ Music, IQUE_MUSIQ, and my Facebook, Iquell Reina. That's where you can reach me at, IQUELLREINA. I know you'll probably have everything down in the description.
I'll have everything in the description, but at the same time, we get an opportunity to see the book.
Yeah, and all of that good stuff. But yeah, you can reach me. This is the book right here. Too Gifted, as you can see, my beautiful smile. And I made sure I put my ring there, so my wife can be happy about that. And I did that on my own. I love black love, man. I love love. I love relationships, period. Healthy relationships. So yeah, this is my book. Real simple. It's a practical read. Very practical. The same way I'm talking to you right now is the same way you're going to get this book. You're not going to get crazy words. You're not going to get things you might not understand. Like, it's very, very practical because I want a 12-year-old or a 60-year-old to be able to apply it, read it, and retain it as well. So it is so important that happens. And again, it's Too Gifted. The treasure lies within. That means that everything that you think you need, you already have. All you have to do is believe in yourself, and you have to be able to tap into that thing. And that thing that I'm talking about is a gift. We are all gifted. We are too gifted to be broke. We're too gifted to settle, and most importantly, we're too gifted to give up. So just know that there's something inside of you that you need to unleash and uncover. Yeah.
That was very important, man. Thank you so much for stopping by. We really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. This has been an amazing trip. Just to think about all the stuff that he said. I just want to say one last final thing. You got to follow your heart. Too Gifted is one of those books that I started reading, and is really motivational. It definitely inspires you. It keeps you going. Definitely shows you ways to tap into your purpose, and I think that's a wonderful thing. So I'm glad that he was able to stop by. But I think the most impactful thing for me is that how he turned around from not knowing how to write a book into turning a whole book, having it go through the distribution cycle, and still come out selling about 150 books from somebody that started from scratch. I think that is incredible. That is a milestone of its own, and I think we should always applaud it and give him his flowers for that. But so thank you so much, IQ, for stopping by.
Thank you.
This was
Stanley.
amazing.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys, have a good one. And for the people that's listening on the audio, we definitely appreciate you guys. Please go get the book, Too Gifted, and it's out on Amazon. And in my case, I went through Kindle.
Yeah.
All right, guys, have a good one.